Holy shit, we're live. Doing a little bit of live beer review, hopeful goodness. I don't even know if this works, but we're going to do it anyway. Vintage barley wine time. My buddy Keesoff Kamer here. He came over tonight to hang out and actually do a couple beers, and he brought this over. This is actually a Funky Buddha beer. It's their iron and barley wine. This is English style barley wine aged in Cabernet barrels. Now, I've done my fair share of Funky Buddha beers before, but the difference with this one is it's quite old. This is was it Constellation? I think that's who purchased Funky Buddha. It's pre-takeover Funky Buddha, 2014 Funky Buddha. And what this beer actually is it's an iron and barley wine. Is an English style barley wine brewed and balanced with an array of hops, notes of citrus, plum, pear, grape, wine, fig, honey, and rock candy blend into a complex, slow-sipping brew. The barrel aging adds a distinct vinous quality, prominently featuring the flavors of red wine and toasted oak. A special release bottle was aged for 3 months in California oak Cabernet barrel, so there's not a huge ton of barrel aging time on this thing, but that's okay. We're talking about English barley wine here, and it's ready to drink now or cellar for future enjoyment. You know, my typical shtick is barley wines aren't meant to be aged, what the fuck am I saying? Barley wines are meant to be aged, but when you have a lot of moving parts like barrels and things like that, that's when you kind of cut down on your barrel aging time. But soft barreling on this, wine barrel, we'll see what's what. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else on there. ABV-wise, Sheeby, 10.5%, and that'd be that. So yeah, it's okay label. It's kind of like, you know, a bit cheesy, kind of the way old breweries kind of look. So I'm kind of excited to open this because this could just gush everywhere. Ooh, that wasn't a big hiss. You're talking about wine barrel stuff. Those are the ones that typically gush way more violently than any other one. So we'll see what this sucker has to offer. I mean, we're talking about, 2014. What was it? July? I think Keith said you could speak up. It's okay for you.
It says it on there, yeah.
July of 2014 is when this is from. So you're talking about, a proper 5 years on this sucker, and she looks the part. I mean, rich red mahogany. You can glean a little bit of light through her, so she's not that kind of murky doo-doo water I typically love when it comes to a barley wine, but she has that rich kind of darkness to her, soft kind of creamy kind of head to her while I spill everything everywhere. She looks like a barley wine. Let's get a nose. Honestly, she doesn't smell all that much like an aged barley wine. I'm not getting a huge vinous character. Where'd Mika go? Mika! Come back. My dog. I don't want her to run off. Mika! Mika! Here she comes. Anyway, come on, baby. Come here. Come on. Hurry up. Hurry up. Come here. Come on. Come up here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come here. I'm going to try to... Mika, look. Where's that? Oh, there she is. Anyway, she doesn't smell like she has a ton of age on her. I mean, you're getting that soft kind of brown sugary note, a little bit of soft kind of toffee, kind of figgy, kind of sugar daddy thing. There's none of that raisinettiness I typically love when it comes to my rich barley wine, English barley wine. I said there was no wine barrel. I'm wrong. There's a little bit of vinous character on the back, but nothing huge. Now, you're talking about 3 months in a barrel, so this isn't going to have the hugest nose in the history of mankind on it, but she smells more like an English barley wine with a little bit of age on her than a 5-year-old English barley wine with a wine barrel involved. So let's just dive in. Cheers. Honestly, kind of comes up pretty much the same. I'm kind of blown away by how little this beer is developed. It tastes like a barley wine. There's a soft bittering, kind of like a tea-like kind of vibe on it, like a tannic tea hoppiness on it. So there's a bittering component there. So you're talking about 5 years removed from when the beer was actually bottled, and it still has a soft bitterness to it. I mean, that it's like a spicy, almost blackstrap molassesy kind of maltiness to it. So it has this spiciness to it, a little bit of that herbally tea kind of vibes going on. If you want to talk about wine barrel, sure, there's a heaping amount of dryness to it. It's very dry, like palate smacking dry, to the point where you want to keep going back for more. Combined with, there's like the way the malts just come off are more like candy than anything else. So it lacks that kind of age to it. Once a barley wine gets in its 5th year, that's kind of like my kind of tent pole for when barley wines really start to reach their stride. They get this kind of rich, kind of beyond sugar daddy, more raisinetty thing that I super covet when it comes to barley wines. This tastes more like a year-old barley wine than it does a 5-year-old barley wine, which is really bonkers because there's not an overt amount of oxidation in there. Sure, a little bit of wet paper, nothing too crazy. I mean, it has a bit of time on it, so you're getting that in the beer. But all in all, it's just really kind of tastes like a 1-year-old barley wine and a 5-year-old barley wine, which is really fucking weird. Like, I think that's harder to pull off than actual age. Like, that's harder. Like, have a beer stay closer to what you imagine it tastes like fresh than actually letting age take its time. Now, what does that say? It could just be a weird beer. But I'm guessing this is a little bit more hoppy, a little bit more robust than what it kind of leads you to believe. It talks about it being English barley wine. It tastes more like an American barley wine, a hop-forward barley wine that has a bit of time on it as opposed to an English barley wine. But it's still good. It's tasty. 0 heat. I mean, you're talking, it's not a huge beer to begin with, but 10.5% doesn't drink like that at all in any form or fashion. It's nice. It has that nice kind of rich kind of caramelliness to it. Nothing too crazy. That wine barrel is very subtle, probably a bit more aggressive in the bitterness, not bitterness, dryness than anything else. It doesn't give this huge vinous character, but it's tasty, it's nice, it's fun, and honestly, it's cool, man. You're talking about drinking vintage beer. That's kind of what gets me off more often than not when it comes to beer, and this beer is kind of hitting that spot in that respect, in that, you know, you're drinking something that's 5 years old. It's a very fucking fun process to do that. And I'm lucky enough guy to actually do that from time to time. So, yeah, big caramel, toffee, not really figgy kind of vibes. Not a huge amount of oxidation, especially for its age. Not a huge amount of grapiness, vinousness, but you get a nice dryness from the oak. And not a, like I said, not a crazy amount of oxidation, which is still boggling my mind, being that it's 5 years old. So it's tasty beer, fun beer. That's pretty much it. So we're going to cut this off because I am being eaten by mosquitoes and it fucking sucks balls. So let's talk about it. It's one of the better aged barley wines I've had as of late. No. It's tasty. I dig it. But I've had a 1-year-old barley wine 2 days ago that tasted way older than this one. And it was giving me a lot of those kind of sugar daddy reaching into those kind of raisinetty notes that I really dig. So it's tasty. It's fun. I dig it. It doesn't blow me away. Value and availability. It's aged beer. You know, I'm sure this was probably $13-14. What do you remember what you paid for this? You bought it in a lot, so you probably don't even actually know the price of it.
I think in the lot it was like $10.
So it was like $10, and that's when it was already aged. And leave you with, if you like what we like this, if you like aged beer. So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully enjoying an aged barley wine right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers. Holy fucking mosquitoes. Are they getting you?
A little bit.
Do.